Dr. Clendenning, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, man. How is the Michael Labersi today?
Dude, I'm loving life, bro. Feeling good. Things are all right over here, man. It's a little snowy,
I
but I'm feeling good.
I get that. Yeah, we're calling for. I think we're calling for minus 19 tonight, and into tomorrow with wind chills, and it's like yesterday or day before was like minus 36. So
Really?
it's
And you're
yeah,
deliberately living there? Okay.
deliberately on purpose we came. Yeah, exactly right. So
Wow. All right. So let's move off of insanity times 10 and let's get into today's hot topic.
yeah, man, what do
Uh,
you got?
So listen, dude, you know me in the history, right? So I've gone all the way back to Marcus Aurelius and been studying a lot of Marcus Aurelius lately. Reading meditations from Marcus Aurelius, which are not meditations, they're more like wartime
Commandments.
dictations.
Yeah,
Crazy. It's the furthest thing from meditation. Um, but I like it. And I like what he's saying. And he's got some true wisdoms that are worth discussing here on TV. And if you want to be a disruptor, these are some things that you have to embrace, and you should embrace, and you should be out there embodying some of these perspectives. And the first one is you don't really control any outcomes; you only control standards. And I feel like majority of people out there are trying to control outcomes. Um, you hear everything from the biohacking industry to these idiots out there that are doing biz dev, blow up your business, and come listen to my shit and you're gonna blow up your business 10x. It's some of that stuff's probably true, but at the same time, you can't control outcomes. All you can control is how you're doing things and what level of satisfaction your execution is living up to. I mean, so when I say you can't control your standards, what do you think about that? I mean, you can't control your
Yeah, I was
outcomes.
going to say, I was going to take that one back. No, you can't. You can control your input. You can control your standards of what you're willing to put into it. I see this constantly in sales. And pick your sales space, right? It doesn't matter whether it's real estate or it's cars or it's vacuum cleaners. It does not matter. It's irrelevant. We're just saying sales is a space. And some of that is what Mike's talking about of, hey, come buy my book, sell $10 million worth of this, or come to my this. And, there's plenty, and we do it too, right? We've got some of that too of, hey, we've got some stuff to offer you. You want to buy it? It'll, this, and it's cool. But at no point do we guarantee the outcomes, and that's because we cannot control those outcomes. And we can't control your input either. So that's where coaching is always a problem. The same, and Mike sees this all the time in the gyms. When you're doing some of the stuff that you're doing, if somebody's like, hey, my outcome is I need to drop 100 pounds and I need to add 30 pounds of muscle and I got to be able to be full beach body so I can compete in this thing. Um, Great, there's a regiment, there's a plan to be able to do it. And if their inputs are 100% on program and we're not getting there, then we adjust the program a little bit. But if the inputs are, if Mike's got them set up, or I've got, salespeople set up in a different way, if Mike's got them set up on, hey, you got to do 100 reps and they do 20, right? Okay, the input is off. The input is not matching up. And that means your standard is lower. And I say this all the time in sales. And we go through one of my favorite things to do. It's not something that I've necessarily named a technique, but there's something that I do in my coaching all the time when people are talking about, yeah, I'm going to make, I want to make $200,000 this year. Awesome. Okay. So then we'll walk through it. And I'll keep asking them one question repeatedly over and over again because I want to know what their actual standard is. Because if you want to make $200,000 this year, you've got a certain amount of work you're going to have to do to get there, right? That's how that's got to go. But I'll ask them the question. I'm like, okay, Mike, so you want to make $200,000 this year. Are you okay if you make $100,000? And depending on their reaction, I'm going to know what, this is like playing the high low game, right? You remember that in Price is Right? Depending on their reaction, I can get to almost exactly what their standard of work is, what they're willing to accept. Because whatever they're willing to accept, that's the amount of effort that 80% of the people are going to put into whatever they're doing. So if they, and typically if they want to make $200,000 this year, I'm going to almost 80% of the time, I'm going to land much closer to 100 that
Right.
they're actually willing to put into it. So, I mean, the only way to control your outcome is it's all about the input. It's what you're willing to do and what your standard is. If you're going to set a non-negotiable standard that is, and that's a tough word, right? When you hear me say non-negotiable standard, that's something different than just a goal. Like we can talk all about that because we're in the middle of the year, we're in the middle of winter. People are doing all the I don't even remember what you call them. They're basically doing their New Year's resolutions. There we go. I got rid of that word years ago, which nobody sticks to because they don't have a standard. They don't have a non-negotiable standard to do it, regardless of what it is, right? I'm going to get healthier this year. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat better. We all make those resolutions. We've all done it, but we're going to fall back into old habits because that's our standard. That's our comfort zone. And Mike's heard me say this a million times is greatness does not happen in comfort. It doesn't. Greatness does not happen in comfort. Plain and simple. You're going to be
No.
right where you are because you're comfortable there.
Right. Well, I agree. I agree there. But I mean, so if you want to look at it like tactically, um, it's almost like you have to have, some of us just have it and some of us need to cultivate it. And then some of us need to cultivate it at different times. It's almost like you need to have a boost, um, like a mental reset every so many hours in the day and cultivate why you're doing what you're doing and
And I agree with
cultivate.
that. And the one I would disagree with is I don't think everybody just has it. I think that's a perception. I think the people that you look at externally that you're like, man, they just have it. I don't think that's true. I think it's because they cultivate it, because they have the discipline and the habit to cultivate it. It appears that way from the outside. I think everybody's got to cultivate it. That's my opinion. It takes work. It isn't automatic. It just doesn't happen.
Well, there's got to be a percentage of the population that their childhood trauma triggers this on a regular basis. In other words, it
Oh,
gave them,
there is. There's research. Yeah.
that's pretty funny. So as you move through this, right, and it comes from anybody, like, it comes from people you associate with, it comes from best practices, it comes from looking at where you are, what you don't like, where you want to be, and how to engage in those best practices to get out of the hole you're in or to expand the high you're in, right? I hear all the time accountability. And as we talk through accountability, and it has a heavy feel, and I want to take a little bit of that off. I want accountability to be liberating. And I want this idea of standards to be liberating, not, it feels very institutional. Like we're talking about it, it feels a little heavy. And I don't want this to be heavy. I want it to be a position where not everything's like this massive thing. You don't have to have like a weight vest on every single day going, oh, I'm a badass. This is my
It's
cross to
not
carry.
sustainable. That is not sustainable.
No, it's not. And neither is the outlook of it has to be hard. Things are hard enough and change is always difficult. But if you look at it from an I can do this lens, that to me is a little better. And you're looking at it from a belief system versus a mountaintop versus something that you've got to go through hell to get to. It's not so hard if you really want to do it and if you're aligned. And if you're not aligned, then yeah, it's going to just be difficult because you got to force yourself to be aligned. You can go all the way back to, am I aligned with the original reason? Am I aligned with the outcome? Am I aligned with the work I'm doing? Am I happy? Like, you could go down a million rabbit holes. But for those people out there that are trying to do things and make a shift and understanding standards, I can't stress enough. Change is difficult, but it doesn't have to be so hard. If you're leaning into trying to do things a little bit differently and your motivation's kicking in and you're ramping up and you're doing better things and you're doing bigger things. Hey man, bigger things can just mean every day I have stopped watching 15 minutes worth of YouTube. Now I'm down to 45 minutes a day versus an hour. Then it's instead of that 15 minutes, now I'm applying that to something else, right? Now I'm making content versus consuming it. It can be any shift of that nature. It doesn't have to be this insurmountable thing, right?
Mm-hmm. And it's not. And that you bring up a lot. You bring up a lot of great points in that. One is alignment. Like you're one thing you've got to know that if I'm going to tell you to spend time on anything, it's to understand your why, your bigger purpose, your whatever divine
Uh,
purpose. Pick your how you're going to do that,
right.
right? But you've got to spend time there because you've got to understand at the core why would I want to do the things that I'm doing? And then that gives you a barometer, that gives you a thing to be able to put these decisions up against to. And then that then you can answer the questions much more simple of, am I in alignment with this? Am I in alignment with this person? Am I in alignment with this role, this job, this business? And if the answer is no, then you have a decision track. You remember those old school? I used to love it. My favorite one was duct tape that they used to use, and it was a board that you drew, and it was like, is it broken? Yes or no. If it's broken, yes, apply duct tape. If it's not broken, no. Why is it not? And it go through this whole end.
Uh,
It basically boiled down to in the end, it was just use more duct tape. But you got to break that down. So now you got a decision point. Am I in alignment with this thing? Okay. Am I willing to change who I am at the core to get in alignment with the thing, or do I just not follow the thing? Plain and simple. You've got a decision you got to make there. And I want to tell you this story real quick. So we binge watched a series the other day because it was like 34 below zero and I don't want to go outside. So like I'm standing inside, walking in place and doing squats and stuff. And I was watching a Nat Geo series, National Geographic, but I'll call it Nat Geo because that sounds cool. And it was Will Smith is doing this new series called Pole to Pole.
oh, I
And
saw that.
it's a cool series. And he goes from he meets these amazing people with this amazing visions and drives and these purpose that these people have in these different segments. It's not what I thought it was when I clicked on it. I just thought it was going to be a cool like wildlife special, but it was way deeper than that. So in the middle of it, probably about episode 4, he's in the Himalayas and he's trying to define happiness is where he's going with it. And I loved where the episode went. It was super powerful. I don't think that was the intention of when they filmed this initially, but it was awesome. So they went to this place called Laya, which is the highest town in the Himalayas, and it's the group of the happiest people there that they went to. And he actually went and he spoke to some of these Hindu monks that were there, and basically how they drill to the very bottom of instead of asking the questions of what makes me happy, how do I be happy, or even the affirmations, and I love those that are I am happy. They went a different way, and it was literally get to the point of the decision that I'm making now and the thing that I'm doing right now, will it matter on my deathbed? Will I care about it? Is this even relevant when I'm dying, when I die? Like that's where they got to. They went hardcore to the end. Like you got to imagine you're on your deathbed, you're on your way out, you're seeing the light, and you've got to ask the question, does that matter? And it's such a powerful question. And I've spent a lot of time in the last few days thinking about that because of all right, the thing that I'm concerned about, this thing that's got me anxious, or this thing that I'm troubled over. Am I going to care about that when I die? And if the answer is no, then I shouldn't give it any levity. But it's an interesting concept. But I'd encourage you to go check it out. It was fun. And then
Yeah,
I'll wrap with yeah.
I saw the show tile. I didn't check it out though. But I mean, the truth is, I'd rather be filming Total Disruption on my deathbed than anything else.
Well,
Um,
and so that's why we're here, right? That's the alignment piece. So this is where we want to go. Mike and I talk about that, and we've hit some different buttons, right? We've done some different things. We've spoken on some different subject matters. What's the one thing that sticks? What's the one thing? It's this show, right? It's this
Mhm.
particular podcast that our audience is the most attached to. We are the most in alignment with, and that's why viewership has gone up. That's why
Oh,
we have moved across different platforms.
let's
So
let's give a shout out to the audience. Thank you, audience. We really appreciate you. We couldn't do this without you. What are we at for downloads right now, Jake?
I checked this morning. We're somewhere right about 70,000 downloads this morning.
So
We're
thank you
average.
to our amazing
Yeah,
audience.
you guys are killing it, and it's what cracks me up. I'm an Android user. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I'm an Android user, and guess who most of our audience is? Apple users. They're all on Apple Podcasts, man. The vast majority of our people are checking us out on Apple. I know, and it's because they're following Mike. I get it. I totally respect that. But guess what? You can get the
Android.
podcast anywhere that you can get your podcast. You can get it on Amazon Music is a great place to get it. Apple Podcasts is a great place to get it. Spotify, anywhere you can get podcasts. And if you want to see our happy faces, you can check us out on E360 TV and go check out our YouTube page. And here's what we will ask of all of you: like, subscribe, and share, and leave ratings. If you like what you're hearing, engage with us, right? Leave us some
Yeah, let us
comments,
know.
engage, let us know what's going on. Go through Apple. I would beg you to go through the horrible process that Apple has to set up to get to a rating. Leave us some 5-star ratings. And when you went through all the trouble to do it, reach out and say, I did the thing. We'll find something cool to give you for that. We really appreciate the audience. We appreciate you guys doing that, and we want to take care
I love I did the thing. That's the best.
of you.
I did the thing. Hey
Just
man.
did the thing.
And we like our community. And if you need some help on some coaching, you're stuck on something, you need to expand one of these things, just DM us on social. Or DM our director of operations on the main Total Disruption Facebook page. It's there, and we are here. So as we march down the path, let's get tactical. We're somebody, we want to level up.
Oh God, I hate that term.
Well, let's
We'll
say
use it because everybody's speaking it. Yeah.
we've leveled down and we want to regain where we were, or we want to do a little something else. When we say standards, right? I mean, I think everything starts with visualizing the outcome you want. And every day for, let's say, maybe 5 times a day, maybe once a day, I'm going to say for 90 days, I'm going to say have that big outcome and then maybe some smaller outcomes to lead to that big outcome.
Mm-hmm.
But you 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 should be a person that's adopting self momentum. Whether you have a group of coach, you're getting coached, you're in a support group, or you're in a some sort of whatever community, right? I mean, you see 1,000 Facebook communities out there, right? I get invited to something every single day. I feel like you need to flip that switch between I see myself not doing this, I see myself doing that. I'm comfortable with now I have to do all these steps, but I have to do them over 90 days. 90 days is a magic formula. It is a number that's attainable. It builds habits. It's 120 days, right? 120 days out. It's 150 days out. It's 230 days out. It's 365 days out. So it's that 90 days turns into the 120, turns into this, turns into that. You start realizing you may or may not be able to do it all in 90 days. But if you've gone closer to your vision in the 90, that next block of 3 is not so hard. And
Agreed. And that's the piece of breaking it down into the bite-sized pieces, right? You can have the big
yeah,
cool goal, and I'll give you a couple of tricks for that one. Um, they're not tricks; these are industry things. These work. Vision boards. If you're a highly visual person, vision boards are your thing. Plain and simple, which means you need to. If you've got I can't remember who called it a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. Whatever the goal might be, doesn't matter. It's big and audacious to you. you've got to write it down. You've got to write it down. You just can't put it in your head and never talk to anybody about it. You got to write it down, and then you have to make sure you tell people about it. Here's my big goal. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. Because that's going to make your brain, it's going to make you more accountable to the goal. You told somebody about it. Like if you tell, it doesn't matter. If I tell Mike, all right, Mike, I am going to lose 10 pounds and I am going to, I don't know what the number is. I'm making up a number right now, people, so don't hold me to this one. I'm going to lose 10 pounds and I'm going to run another marathon in August. Okay. If I'm going to tell Mike that's my goal, but I got to be more specific. I'm going to break that one down a little more. I said I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Okay, cool. What's my starting weight? What do I need to be there? The one that I screwed up on was I'm going to run a marathon. Not defined enough. I could go to the Boston Marathon. I could run 100 yards and say I ran a marathon. Nope. I have to be more specific. I have to say, okay, I am going to run all 23 miles. I'm going to go through without walking. I'm going to go through the tape, however long it takes me. I'm going to finish it and I'm going to run the whole way. Now, it might look like a wog. It might look like a ruffle the whole way, but I'm going to make the illusion that I'm going to, like, you got to be super specific in this one. And then we were, man, it's been like 2 years we were on this particular, we were on a summit, and the one gal was talking about falling in love with your goal. And it was beautiful the way she talked about it, because she's like, you have to write it down, all the things during the marathon that are amazing, and you have to use romantic language in doing it. And it was a great way to do it. But this is where Mike's talking about this visualization piece 3 to 5 times a day. Like, you've got to make that goal so real to you. Like, hear what you're going to hear, see what you're going to see, smell what you're going to smell, feel what you're going to feel through the whole event. You've got to make the event so realistic that that it feels like you've already done it. That by the time you're getting close to it, the thought of not doing it just doesn't even enter your mind.
Or that it's so native now mentally that the physical act of
Mm-hmm.
doing it feels in alignment and there's zero friction.
100%.
I did it with lifting skills. I did it with yoga handstands. I did it with bike tricks, athletics, speaking, getting through massive illnesses. I visualized,
Yeah,
and
it's an incredibly powerful tool that is underutilized, because for whatever reason it just is. You've got to visualize it. You've got to, Mike's a very visual person, so he's going to put the visual aspects in there. And I know he also puts in there, and this is what it's going to feel like. I'm going to feel like this when before I get there. I'm going to feel like this when I walk. We do it when we get on stage, right? You step into that. This is what it feels like to be on stage. You build up the excitement in your body. You build up the momentum. So when you step on stage, you're not doing the Bueller thing, right? You've got to set the tonality of what you're trying to get to, and then you break it down into steps, right? If I'm going to say I'm going to finish a marathon tomorrow, that goal's too big. I'm not prepared. I am highly likely to fail and or just not do it. But if I say I'm going to finish this marathon and I'm going to do it under 5 hours, which anybody can get it done in under 5 hours, I'm just telling you, and I'm going to do it in August, then I have something I can go, okay, well, that means I've got to be able to run the whole thing in July, which means I've got to be able to run half of it in June, which means I've got to be able to run tomorrow 1 full mile, and I've got a timeline with which to do it. Get crazy specific with your goals of what they're going to be, and you'll know if they're not in alignment with it. And here's the last thing I want to leave you guys with. Mike had brought up about we talk about mentors and role models all the time. I talk about this all the time because I think it's the most powerful thing. If you're around a bunch of people that refuse to run a mile, not going to do it, can't do it, and your goal is to run a marathon, you are not in alignment with the people around you. You need to get people that are going to be the people that are going to be like, yeah, come with us, man. We do it all the time. Come with us. Come with us. Right. You've got to get with the group of runners. It's no different in business. It's no different in life. You've got to get with the group of people that are in alignment with where you want to be with your goals, or your standards are the people that you settle for around you.
agreed, man. Those are huge words of wisdom. Don't waste too much time though, trying to cultivate that. find those people, they're out there doing it. And if you ask carefully, they'll let you in. You just have to make sure that you want to give, not get. And there's the big boundary on acceptance. Like if you're somebody out there that's looking to level up or blow up this or change that, and you want to get in certain circles, you have to bring value. Otherwise, you're just a taker. It's like when we get a podcast guest, right? And they want to come on and they message us. And then we put up a barrier to see who's a tire kicker and who's going to use us for our media and who wants to contribute. We have a barrier. And 9 times out of 10, those tire kickers that are looking to level up, they're not bringing anything, they're taking. So, it's a big
point. Valid point, man.
Valid point, man. Well, everybody, we're running low on time. And as usual, thanks for tuning in to Total Disruption. For Dr. Clendenning, I'm Mike Labersi. We'll tune in next time. Now it's your turn to disrupt.